Indonesia is the leader of ASEAN countries. So this is a very much geopolitical move to invite entire ASEAN community to the side of the BRICS. Indonesia is quite important as well as larger than other countries as one single country. But obviously, in addition to that fact,
Indonesia will formally join BRICS as a full member, further expanding the group of major emerging economies.
Indonesia has officially joined BRICS as a full member, according to the Brazilian government's announcement on Monday.
Indonesia has become the latest member of BRICS. The multinational group was originally made up of just 5 emerging economies.
Indonesia has been admitted as a full member of the BRICS bloc of developing economies.
Di Asia Tenggara, ada 4 negara yang mengajukan diri untuk menjadi anggota BRICS, yaitu Malaysia, Vietnam, Thailand, dan Indonesia. Tapi, hanya Indonesia yang akhirnya dijadikan anggota penuh. Mengapa BRICS akhirnya memilih Indonesia? Dalam konteks itu, kita bicara tentang power, pengaruh, dan skala ekonomi. Dalam semua perspektif yang digunakan untuk menganalisis geopolitik, jawabannya jelas. Indonesia adalah negara yang paling memberikan impact terhadap kekuatan BRICS. 3 negara seperti Malaysia, Vietnam, dan Thailand statusnya masih tertunda karena beberapa alasan. Pertama, Malaysia. Meskipun memiliki ekonomi yang berkembang, Malaysia tidak memiliki pengaruh geopolitik sebesar Indonesia. Sedangkan Vietnam lebih banyak pada penguatan hubungan bilateral dengan sekutu barat yang terkadang berseberangan dengan kepentingan beberapa anggota BRICS seperti China dan Rusia. Sementara Thailand, ketidakstabilan politik domestik di negara ini termasuk kudeta militer yang sering terjadi membuat Thailand kurang ideal sebagai anggota BRICS yang memang mencari stabilitas jangka panjang. Detailnya itu begini. Yang pertama, Malaysia. Mengapa negara ini belum menjadi anggota penuh BRICS? Pertama, skala ekonominya masih lebih kecil. Meskipun produk domestik brutonya tergolong tinggi di ASEAN, tapi masih tidak sebesar Indonesia. Pada tahun 2023, produk domestik bruto Malaysia hanya sekitar 430 miliar US dollar. Jauh lebih kecil dibandingkan Indonesia yang mencapai 1,42 triliun US dollar. Dengan populasi sekitar 34 juta, pasar domestik Malaysia tidak begitu signifikan seperti di Indonesia dalam hal konsumsi, tenaga kerja, dan investasi jangka panjang. Kemudian secara geografis, Malaysia tidak berada dalam posisi strategis yang dapat mengontrol jalur perdagangan di Selat Malaka. Walaupun Indonesia dan Malaysia berbagi akses ke selat tersebut, tapi posisi Malaysia tidak begitu vital dalam konteks perdagangan dan politik global, karena memang negara itu tidak memiliki pengaruh kepemimpinan di skala yang lebih luas. Yang kedua, Vietnam. Vietnam belum dipilih sebagai anggota penuh BRICS karena negara ini secara aktif membangun hubungan dengan Amerika Serikat dan Sekutu Barat untuk mengimbangi pengaruh Cina di Asia Tenggara, terutama dalam sengketa Laut Cina Selatan. Hal ini menempatkan Vietnam dalam posisi yang kurang fleksibel untuk mendukung agenda BRICS yang sebagian besar didominasi oleh Cina. Secara ekonomi, meskipun Vietnam memiliki pertumbuhan yang pesat, produk domestik bruto nominalnya pada tahun 2023 hanya sekitar 433 miliar. Angka itu jelas lebih kecil dibandingkan Indonesia. Kapasitas pasar domestiknya hanya sekitar 98 juta populasi. Yang ketiga, Thailand. Thailand ini memiliki sejarah panjang dalam ketidakstabilan politik, termasuk kudeta militer yang sering terjadi beberapa kali dalam 2 dekade terakhir. Ketidakpastian politik ini membuatnya dianggap kurang ideal untuk menjadi member penuh jangka panjang dalam BRICS. Demonstrasi besar dan konflik politik domestik menciptakan citra bahwa Thailand tidak cukup stabil untuk mendukung agenda global yang ambisius. Secara ekonomi, produk domestik bruto nominal Thailand sekitar 512 miliar US dollar pada tahun 2023, yang memang lebih besar daripada Vietnam, tapi jelas masih lebih kecil dibandingkan Indonesia. Meskipun sektor pariwisata Thailand kuat, ketergantungan pada sektor ini membuat ekonominya lebih rentan terhadap krisis global seperti pandemi COVID-19. Dengan populasi sekitar 70 juta jiwa, pasar Thailand jelas lebih kecil dibandingkan beberapa negara lain, sehingga daya tarik ekonominya masih lebih rendah. Yang paling penting, Thailand tidak memiliki posisi strategis yang sama seperti Indonesia dalam mengontrol Selat Malaka. Lokasi geografi Thailand lebih fokus pada daratan Asia Tenggara yang kurang relevan untuk jalur perdagangan maritim global. Bagi BRICS, ketiga negara ini tidak memiliki tingkat kepemimpinan yang sama seperti Indonesia. Bagaimanapun juga, Indonesia adalah pemimpin dalam inisiatif regional dan internasional seperti di G20, Gerakan Non-Blok Asia Afrika, Organisasi Konferensi Islam, dan KTT ASEAN yang menegaskan posisinya sebagai mitra global. BRICS menjadi anggota yang secara nyata dapat memperkuat posisi BRICS di level dunia. Malaysia, Vietnam, dan Thailand belum menunjukkan kapasitas tersebut. BRICS ini memiliki agenda pada diversifikasi geografis dan pasar ekonomi besar. Indonesia dengan ukuran ekonomi dan pengaruh regionalnya sudah merepresentasikan semua negara di Asia Tenggara. Bagi BRICS, dominasi Indonesia di ASEAN sudah mewakili semua negara-negara di dalamnya. Kesimpulannya itu begini, Malaysia, Vietnam, dan Thailand belum dipilih menjadi anggota penuh karena keterbatasan dalam skala ekonomi, pengaruh geopolitik, stabilitas politik, dan kapasitas diplomatik mereka dibandingkan Indonesia. BRICS melihat Indonesia sebagai kandidat penting untuk mendukung tujuan ekonomi global, memperluas agenda geopolitik, dan menciptakan keseimbangan baru dalam tatanan politik internasional. Masuknya Indonesia ke dalam BRICS artinya sudah 4 negara besar di dunia dalam BRICS, yaitu China, India, Rusia, dan Indonesia. 4 negara ini memiliki wilayah yang luas, populasi yang besar, yang pada akhirnya sangat menentukan pengaruh BRICS dalam ekonomi dan politik global. Masuknya Indonesia sebagai anggota penuh BRICS jelas memberikan dampak positif bagi BRICS untuk berhadapan dengan sekutu-sekutu barat. Lebih jelasnya, mari kita dengarkan pemaparan dari diplomat senior Malaysia tentang alasan Indonesia akhirnya dipilih sebagai anggota penuh BRICS.
At the Kazan BRICS Summit last year, 13 countries were admitted as partner countries. But in January, only Indonesia has been admitted as a full member. So why is Indonesia a priority? The first reason is economics. Indonesia is the largest economy in Southeast Asia. Its economy is about $1.4 trillion as of 2023. So for BRICS, it is vital to have Indonesia as a member, an important member at that. Now, I mentioned to you that the global GDP of BRICS is roughly about 31%, but with the inclusion of Indonesia, it is going to jump over 41% of the global GDP, and therefore now, with Indonesia's inclusion, BRICS becomes an entity that just cannot be ignored. It is too big to be ignored. Number 2, Indonesia is a supplier of critical minerals and materials. In my videos on BRICS, I have explained that one of the fundamental strategies employed by BRICS in search of its membership is that the members must be suppliers of critical materials and minerals. The admission of South Africa, for example, was intended specifically for that because it is producer of huge amounts of components which are required for the economy of the future, various sensitive economic manufacturing items today. And the other important mineral component which is being produced by the members of BRICS is, of course, oil, and that's the reason why countries like the several members in the Middle East, including Iran, have been admitted. So Indonesia is on its own, by its own right, a producer of such kind of minerals. So this plays right into the BRICS strategic calculation Number 3, it is strategic location. And again, in a previous video, I have explained that the second important strategic calculation that BRICS takes into account is the location of its members. It is important for BRICS to be in control of the major trade routes. So if we were to look at the map, for example, you'll find that the Suez Canal area, which includes countries like Egypt, UAE, and in the Horn of Africa, Ethiopia, Cape of Good Hope, South Africa. These are all important waterways in the world, and this is where the members of BRICS are. So it is no coincidence that Indonesia should be chosen as a member because it sits astride the Strait of Malacca. For this reason too, I think that Malaysia and Thailand would also feature as potential members because of location. But coming back to Indonesia, its location in Southeast Asia, specifically along the Straits of Malacca, makes it a very important player because this waterway is the other important maritime trade routes that are vital to global economy, and BRICS is determined that its members must come from these regions, and Indonesia fits that bill. Number 4 is leadership. Indonesia is the de facto leader of ASEAN, or the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. It simply is because Indonesia is the biggest power in the region, and it is also a thought leader and a pathfinder for the countries in this part of the world. And therefore, Indonesia's voice, as globally speaking, is very important. And that is, I think, one of the most valuable assets, intangible assets that Indonesia brings to BRICS. For that reason, Indonesia is indispensable, if you ask me, for BRICS. And number 5, linked somewhat to its global leadership, is Indonesia's position on non-alignment. Now, Indonesia, as you know, is one of the founding fathers of, in fact, parents of the non-aligned movement with its Bandung conference in the 1950s. So Indonesia has always had a preferred position when it comes to the global south, as a voice for the global south in many ways, and non-alignment is one of them. And this is again a very important strategic asset for BRICS, because Indonesia's voice is a voice of reason when it speaks out there on international issues. So I think this is also an important calculation that has gone into the minds of the BRICS members when they decided to admit Indonesia very early on as in 2025. And number 6 is its population. Indonesia has 280 million people living in it. Its sheer size makes it impossible to be ignored. And imagine having a member like Indonesia in BRICS. It simply elevates BRICS to another level of importance as in terms of organizations in the world. With the admission of BRICS, now the population of BRICS would be well over half of the world's population. So again, as I said, from the economic standpoint, BRICS just simply cannot be ignored. But when you throw in the component of population, its strategic location, and its voice, politically speaking, BRICS is simply no pushover. Now it is actually a force to be contended with. So Indonesia's admission has basically now positioned BRICS in a different league altogether, if you were to ask me. An important league as an important player. That is why Indonesia has to be brought in. So Indonesia was admitted very early in 2025. It simply means that all the existing members of BRICS have agreed on consensus to admit Indonesia. And this must have been the calculation that has gone into their minds in making this decision. Now, I have mentioned to you that BRICS is positioning itself by putting in the strategic building blocks, starting with the strategic materials, the supply routes, and then it goes on to the banking system, which is another area which I've spoken about in the previous videos. I mentioned to you a little bit just now about the new development bank and this payment system called MBD, etc. So you can see now a big picture emerging. A solid world economic order is being built on these pillars which I have just spoken about. Of course, there is a long way to go, but BRICS is very careful and cautious about how it is going about doing it. It is in no hurry, in my opinion. I think it is also allowing the existing order to adjust itself so that it is not going to be confrontational. But here I think Indonesia's admission brings a lot of value.